All right, good morning everyone. It's Ethan here, doing my first difficult hike since moving here to El Paso, Texas. And today, as you saw, I'm at the Ron Coleman Trailhead at the end of McElligin Canyon, a really well-known spot here in El Paso for hiking and biking and all sorts of other stuff. And today I'm going to be attempting, keyword, attempting, to do a pretty crazy hike here in the Franklin Mountains, known as the Franklin Mountains Ridgeline Traverse. So this hike can be done a couple of ways. I'm going to do the shorter version of it because I am not in shape enough at the moment to do the longer version of it. I don't even know if I'm in shape enough to do the shorter version. Remains to be seen. But basically, what this hike entails is starting here at the end of McElligin Canyon, hiking up the Ron Coleman Trail to get to this saddle about a mile in, and from there I will be hiking up the ridgeline to the summit of South Franklin Peak, and then over to the summit of Mammoth Rock, and then to Smugglers Gap, and then up to the summit of North Franklin Peak, the tallest peak in the Franklin Mountains, and then back down to the main Franklin Mountains trailhead. In total, it's about 11 miles, point to point, about 4,000 feet of total elevation gain, and quite a few spots of class 3, some possibly even class 4 to low class 5, and also some off-trail hiking, route finding, all sorts of crazy stuff. So I'm starting in on the trail now, and I will get back to you guys when I get a little further up. All right, coming up to the first of 2 caves on this hike, little caves. And you can see the handiwork of some local idiots. Just around the corner here is the first kind of easy class 3 section. It's a very steep trail in this section though. All right, cave number 2 right there with more graffiti, of course. Now I just got to hike up to the saddle, which is right there. It's just whoosh, right like that. And then I'm going to cut to the right, and once I get up there, you'll be able to see a lot more of the route. And man, it is a beautiful morning up here. It's about 70 degrees right now. It's about 6:40 in the morning. The high today in El Paso is supposed to be 95, which means that up here on the peaks, it's probably gonna be about 90. Which is why I started early. I'm hoping to be done with this hike before it hits 90 degrees. All right, well, first goal achieved. I made it up to the saddle. That climb out of McElligin Canyon is, it's short. It's only like, I don't even think it's a mile. It's like 3/4 of a mile maybe, but it's very steep. Yeah, it's pretty much just straight up for most of it. But it is a beautiful morning up here. You can see the west side of El Paso over there, and it looks like there's a rainbow out there, which is interesting. I didn't know it was going to do any raining today. That definitely wasn't in the forecast. Hopefully it doesn't start storming. But anyway, I am heading up the saddle, or the ridge, and just ahead there's a little point on the ridge where I should be able to show you guys a view of like the next, you know, mile or so of the hike. Oh man, that breeze feels so good. Really got to be careful where you're walking up here. There's freaking cactus everywhere. All right, well, I'm hiking along the ridge. If you ever, it's really hard to get lost on the Ron Coleman Trail. You got these little trail markers everywhere. Like I swear, like every 2 feet. If you look up there where those radio towers are, that is going to be my first summit of the day, South Franklin Mountain, which is like 6,900 something. It's like just below 7,000 feet. It's the second tallest peak in the Franklin Mountains after North Franklin. I believe it's the second tallest. There's another peak further up the ridge past North Franklin called Anthony's Nose, which I know is up there as well. But anyway, just enjoying this beautiful morning, enjoying these expansive views of El Paso and over into Mexico. It is a little cloudy looking north of here, so you don't get as good of views as I'd like of like the Oregon mountains and a few of the mountain ranges over in southeastern New Mexico, but still a beautiful day nonetheless. An absolutely perfect morning. All right, continuing to hike along the ridge just below the ridge crest. And if you look down there, that is looking back down to where I parked at McElligan Canyon. Definitely gone a good ways up the ridge at this point. And you can see just up ahead there, that is South Franklin Mountain. And it's looking like a pretty awesome ridge hike from here. So I'm excited. There is a section below the summit where they have some, I think it looks like from what I've seen that it's like a high class 3, maybe very low class 4 section, but there's chains bolted into the rocks, so that definitely makes it a little easier. But I am definitely really excited about that. And it is just such a beautiful morning. It hasn't really started, the sun's up, but it hasn't really started warming up yet, so it's still in the low 70s. And it just feels amazing. And look at those rock formations, all those rock towers and fins up there. That is incredible. I tell you, I don't care what anybody says, this area down here, like West Texas, southern New Mexico, is a vastly underrated destination for hiking and outdoor stuff. There's so much to do here, and as you can see, it's incredible. All right, well, there is the chain section. That actually looks pretty fucking spicy. We'll see when I get a little closer. It's hard to tell how bad it is from back here. But this is definitely a place where if you are uncomfortable with scrambling or exposure, the state park highly recommends not going any further. Man, look at how beautiful this is. beautiful view of West El Paso here. This is the west side of El Paso. Absolutely incredible. And this is a beautiful, beautiful morning, hiking right along the edge here. This is awesome. So you can see, this kind of reminds me of Long's Peak. They got all these bullseyes and arrows painted into the rocks here. So it would be, I would say it would be pretty difficult to get lost on the Ron Coleman Trail, but I don't underestimate people's stupidity. Now, I don't want to get cocky because then I'll get lost. But anyway, it's beautiful up here, and I'm definitely about to get to the fun part. All right, so as you can see, they make sure that you know exactly where to go. There's the first chain section. Now, I don't know if there's another chain section. This is definitely class 3. It's pretty solid class 3. I definitely wouldn't say it's class 4, but it's a solid class 3 pitch. And if you look right here, there's a drop. I mean, it drops down the canyon. So there's some pretty good exposure up here too. But it's definitely not like, it's not quite as bad as it was portrayed to be, I would say. But it is a solid class 3 pitch. But I don't even think I'm going to use the chains. We'll see. But anyway, I'm not going to hold my camera for going up this pitch. This is difficult enough and exposed enough that I'm not going to try to hold a phone while I do this. All right, well, I made it through that first section, and if you're someone who is, scared of, scrambling and some exposure, that's definitely going to be a tough spot for you to get through, but it's not that bad. But they're definitely, I would say, try to go closer to the right side of the rock wall, because the further over to the left you are, the more exposure there is. But there's tons of great hand and footholds on that whole thing, so it's not too bad. But anyway, I believe there is another section of chains. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn that they said that there was more than just that. We'll see. Oh man, it is incredible up here. So beautiful. And I'm almost to the first summit. All right, just a short walk further up. Last video was from right down there. And we come to the second and much more spicy class 3 pitch. This might be like up there. It looks like it might be like a low class 4. So you can see they once again have the chains bolted into the rock. I don't think I'm going to use them because it looks like there's a lot of good hand and footholds, and honestly I trust the rock more than I trust the chains, so I'm probably going to use the rock to climb up, but we'll see. Man, this is cool. I really miss doing stuff like this, but yeah, this is definitely a very solid class 3 pitch right here. Oh, look, there's like a little arch up there too. Oh my God, this is so cool. Wow. Another little cave over there. Man, the Franklin Mountains are just incredible. All right, well, I made it up the first set, the first part of that pitch. There's another section right here. And let me tell you something, if you get scared by exposure, you're not gonna like this part. This will definitely, I'm sure that this is a spot where a lot of people turn around because, you know, that first pitch had a little bit of exposure. This one has way more. But, you know, if you are scared of exposure, just concentrate on what you're doing and don't look behind you. That's the best advice I can give you. Just concentrate on what you're doing. Make sure you have 3 points of contact. And, you know, if you're climbing up using the rocks, which I would highly recommend because, like I said, great hand and foot holds that whole way up. No need for the chains. But I would definitely recommend testing every rock, testing all your holds before you put your weight on them. But yeah, that really was cool. That reminds me of that pitch reminds me of, for any of my Colorado people out there, that reminds me of the final pitch before you get to the summit of Wetterhorn. Really cool. And then you get rewarded by this little, it's like a little window arch thing right here, and a beautiful view out to the east side of El Paso, and you can see Juarez over there, the Waco Mountains off in the distance over there. Absolutely incredible. And you can see there's lots of trails, lots of double track trails down there. A lot of people do mountain biking in that area. Really, lots of, you know, easy to moderate mountain biking trails over there that are really cool to check out. Wow, beautiful. All right, well, time to keep climbing. All right, I'm recording a lot of video here. It's gonna be a long one, but another little pitch of class 3 here with some more chains, and it looks like once you get to the top of that, you'll be back on the ridge crest. Now, back there, that last little part of the pitch after that little window arch thing, there was a class 4 move in there. So this is definitely pretty spicy. There's you know, it's definitely solid class 3, even a low class 4 move, and a good amount of exposure. So I would definitely say that this is not a novice hiker friendly trail. That class 4 move, it even made my butt pucker a little bit, and I've done, you know, like Crestone Needle and hikes like that. So definitely not a beginner friendly trail, I would say. All right, well, once again, that right there is class 4 for sure, and not the worst exposure because you do have this little platform below you, but you definitely get the feeling of exposure because there's like a small platform and then a fucking sheer drop. And now I'm on the ridge crest, and as you can see, the fun does not end here. Definitely more scrambling, more class 3 to do up here on the ridge crest, but I should be really close to the summit of South Franklin at this point. I should be like right below the summit at this point. Let's see. All right, so there's the ridge crest that I crested over right over there. Actually, once you get over the ridge, you just kind of go back down, and the other side here, as you can see, is a lot more mellow. Very beautiful up here, and we're definitely getting up to the elevations where you start to see a lot more plant life. A lot more vegetation grows up here at the higher elevations, but I believe this is the summit. I can't see the radio towers, but this is either the actual summit or it's like a few feet away from the actual summit. I'm getting real close. So as you can see, both that summit and that summit are both closed off to the public, it looks like. They got it all fenced off. So I think what I'm gonna do here is just go right there. And we'll call this close enough. yeah. So South Franklin has two summits. This one and this one. This one's obviously a little higher, and I'm only like 15 vertical feet off of it right now. But as you can see, I can't really get to the actual summit because it's fenced off. But anyway, if you look over there, that is my hopefully next destination, North Franklin Mountain. And that's looking pretty cool. Very inviting. And here we are on the basically summit of South Franklin Mountain. It is absolutely incredible up here. My goodness. You can see 3 states from here. Texas, all around us. New Mexico, up there, and up there, and over there. And then all of this is Texas again. And then over there where it turns into a much more densely packed city, that is Juarez in Chihuahua. Absolutely beautiful up here. There's the Waco Mountains over there. The Oregon Mountains are kind of over that. You can't really see them because North Franklin is blocking it, but wow, what an incredible hike and what an amazing view up here. Really cool. Like I said, wouldn't recommend it for a beginner, but it is beautiful. And you can see down there is Trans Mountain Highway, Smugglers Gap. The pass on the highway is right down there on the other side of this peak. And I'm going to be hiking down there. I believe that's Mammoth Rock right there. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that that's Mammoth Rock. I see a trail down there leading up to it. So I'm going to check the map to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's where I'm headed next. And then I'll be going down to Smugglers Gap. All right, well, as I sit here on the almost summit of South Franklin Mountain, I forgot to tell you guys, but the elevation of that summit, the highest summit where the tramway is 6,791 feet. So for a lot of you guys, probably not that tall, but it's definitely tall for El Paso. And of course, like I said, that is North Franklin over there, which is a good 500 feet taller, or like 400 feet taller. So, and it is, as you can see, very beautiful. This side of the Franklin Mountains is very like looks a lot more gentle. It's a lot more gentle slopes and stuff. Not so much like the jagged peaks over here. It's all really cool though. I'm about to get up and start headed towards Mammoth Rock. Well, this looks like it could get interesting. This little ridge right here, narrow, steep ridge. I was like doubting myself over whether this was the trail, but there's bullseyes painted on the rocks here, so I guess I'm gonna go down there and check it out and see how bad it is. It looks doable, I think. I don't know, this kind of looks like I could get cliffed up. But I also don't see any other way to get over there to Mammoth Rock, so yeah, interesting. Okay, so after being confused for a really long time, so you can see that's the way that I was trying to go down, and there was even a bullseye painted over there saying that that was like the way to go. But I mean, it cliffs up like a motherfucker right there. I mean, that would be like a very, like that would be a good class 5 down climb to get there. And then past that, you know, I mean, that rock fin pretty much just kind of cliffs up completely over there. So there ain't no fucking way that you could go that direction. So, and it kept showing that there was a trail right below me, but you know, I couldn't find it. So finally I backtracked a little bit and I finally found what looks to be the trail here. But I'm telling you, this ain't gonna be fun because I was like looking at it and I was like, that can't be it, because this is literally about to put me into a super steep, loose rock gully. And I'm gonna have to just descend straight down that fucking gully down to the canyon below, which is fucking insane. Like, I was looking at it, I was like, there's no way that's the fucking trail. But it is. I even double checked the map to make sure, and I am on the trail right now. This is where it wants me to go. And you know, there clearly is a trail, and you can even see there's signs here, so this is the trail. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it's not as bad as it looked from up there. Like, so far I'm not having much difficulty with down climbing this. I mean, it's not down climbing, it's just hiking. But yeah, I don't know, it just looked like this gully got like insanely steep the further down you go, so we'll see here. Okay, so I was way off trail. I was down in that gully, climbing down through all those rocks, and it was pretty bad. And I had completely stopped seeing the little blue bullseyes telling me that I was on the trail. So I kind of started realizing that something was wrong, you know, like clearly something was wrong. And sure enough, I was off the trail. There's a point right there where the trail dips down into the gully, but then pops right back out of it and continues this way. And you can see it goes this way, and I think it starts cutting to the right, and then it goes down to the ridge and then zigzags down into the canyon from there. So I'm back on the right track now. Unfortunately, I had to climb back up that stupid fucking gully, which was not fun, but I'm back on the right track now. So hopefully there are no more mishaps like that. But I am starting to wonder if I'm actually going to be able to do the second part of the traverse, because when I still got a good ways to go to get to Trans Mountain, and when I get down there, I still have all of that to climb up, and that is kind of the most that's going to be the most fucked up part, because I legitimately have there's no trail, so I legitimately have no idea, you know, what I'm going to be looking at going up to North Franklin, like how difficult it's going to be. And so, like I said, I'm going to kind of play it by ear and see how I feel when I get down to Smugglers Gap. But I'm just glad I'm back on the right trail. Well, that ended up being way more of a pain in the ass than it should have been, but I made it to Mammoth Rock. So, yeah, just know if you're hiking this trail, you don't follow the gully all the way down. You only follow it about halfway down. And, you know, I'm a dumbass because I should have been checking the map more often, but whatever. As you can see, the idiots are back with their graffiti, but this is Mammoth Rock to the left, and then to the right is called the Mammoth. If you want to get up to that summit, you need to bring some climbing gear. So I will not be going all the way up to the summit, but it's a pretty cool little spot right here. You can see looking back up to South Franklin Mountain up there, and then looking down to where I'm going. I'm going to be following this trail down to the ridge, down to that, you know, little saddle thing down there, and then down into the canyon from there, which is a lot better than going down that fucking gully. Like I said, I'm kind of an idiot because I should have turned around before. Like, I should have, you know, been checking the map more often, and I should have turned around before I got cliffed up. But, you know, like I said, I was being dumb. And honestly, I know they're doing some like restoration work to this trail, and it definitely needs it. Because it is not easy to follow. There's a lot of places on this trail where I'm like, where the fuck do I go? My God, I feel so much better now that I am in a safer area. You can see back up there to Mammoth Rock, and then the Mammoth. And then way up there to South Franklin Mountain. That's where I was. And yeah, according to a little trail marker I just passed, I have 1.5 miles to go to get to Smugglers Gap, which is the mountain pass on Trans Mountain Road where it gets to its highest point, which is exactly 1 mile above sea level, 5,280 feet. I'll tell you, this this fucking side of the mountain, like this is the north side of the peak, it's been pretty crazy. Like that section, I mean, everything from Mammoth Rock to where I'm at now has been fine, but that section between South Franklin and Mammoth Rock was freaking insane. Like that was kind of a nightmare. I got off trail multiple times, and unfortunately, because of how much route finding and backtracking I had to do, I wasted a lot of time in that little section of the hike, and now it's pretty much getting to be a little too late where I'm comfortable with continuing up to North Franklin. I mean, honestly, I underestimate. Number one, the mileage that it says on all trails is not correct about this hike. And number two, I definitely underestimated how much time it would take for, like, route finding and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I'm probably just gonna have to call it a day when I get to Smugglers Gap. I have my girlfriend is going to be picking me up from there, and it is what it is. I'll try it again another day, but even so, this was still fun. There was definitely some type 2 fun mixed in, but it was fun, and I still do have a good ways to go. Like I said, probably about another 1.25 miles or so from here to get back to the trailhead on the other side. All right, so there is the trailhead down there that I'm heading towards. As you can see, there's nobody there, and that's because it's closed. But you can actually, if you look down there, there's actually another trail right there, and that goes to a spot called Mammoth Cave, which is not nearly as impressive as the other more well-known Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. But unless you're willing to hike what I just hiked to go see Mammoth Cave, then right now you can't hike to it because, like I said, this trailhead over here is closed. But anyway, the temperature has definitely gone up quite a bit. It's about 85 degrees right now, and that sun is beating down on me. But I should be less than 1 mile away from that trailhead at this point, so I'm getting pretty close. It's all downhill. It should be mostly, just class 1 easy trail hiking from here on out. So yeah, but definitely remember, if you're going to be hiking up here in the Franklin Mountains in the summertime, bring lots of water, because you're going to need it. Because it's crazy, like this morning when I started, it was like nice and cool, and there was this breeze blowing and it felt really good. And now it's like just hot and the sun's right on me. and there's like no breeze whatsoever. It's like perfectly still. So, you know, yeah, the weather is pretty harsh here in El Paso in the summertime. So if you do want to do a hike here in the summertime, you certainly can. Just bring lots of water. All right, guys, well, I made it back down. Not going to go up to North Franklin today. Save that for another day, but still a beautiful hike and a really fun little adventure here in the Franklin Mountains. I'd highly recommend it if you're looking for something crazy to do here in the Franklin Mountains. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video here. If you liked it, subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I'll see you guys soon for another hiking adventure.